You are listening to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Cricket Corner podcast. Well, today's episode is a bit different to what you might have been listening to over the past month or so. We have been talking a lot about the India versus England Test series, which India have won 3-1 with a game to go. But the fifth and final Test match in Dharamshala is still a week away, and we have got some news from BCCI that they have announced the central contracts for the calendar year 2023-2024. And the amount of exclusions and inclusions are so fascinating to me that it felt like, well, this news basically deserved its own podcast. So here I am going to talk about the central contracts which the BCCI have handed to a bunch of players, and two notable exclusions have been the headlines all over the internet and social media, and that is the exclusion of Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan. And we are going to talk a lot about these two players in particular over the rest of this podcast. But before we talk about the two exclusions, we need to talk about the people and the players and the athletes which have gotten a central contract from BCCI, and we'll quickly rattle down the names, and then we will talk about the players which have been not given a contract from October 2023 to September 2024. So here are the BCCI annual player contracts. For those of you who don't know, the player contracts are divided into four categories. So that is grade A+, grade A, grade B, and grade C. So let's start by talking about players in grade A+, which is the most lucrative contract the BCCI can offer to their players. And we have four players in A+ grade. We have Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, and Ravindra Jadeja. Then comes grade A, where we have six players. We have Ravichandran Ashwin, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, KL Rahul, Shubman Gill, and Hardik Pandya. Grade B consists of five players. We have Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, and Yashasvi Jaiswal. It is worth noting that Rishabh Pant and Akshar Patel have been dropped down a grade. Previously, they were in grade A, but they find themselves in grade B. For Rishabh Pant, it kind of makes sense. He's not played cricket for a year and a half now, but he's surely returning back to match fitness. We have been hearing rumors and reports stating that Rishabh Pant will be taking part in the Indian Premier League as his comeback tournament. He's not going to keep wickets. He's going to play as a specialist batter, but it will be so good to see him back playing cricket and representing India in the near future. So those were the grade A+, grade A, and grade B. Coming to grade C now, where we have the maximum players. These are the players who are in and around the fringes of the first team, but they have played a vital role over the past couple of months. And the grade C player consists of Rinku Singh, Tilak Verma, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Shardul Thakur, Shivam Dube, Ravi Bishnoi, Jitesh Sharma, Washington Sundar, Mukesh Kumar, Sanju Samson, Arshdeep Singh, KS Bharat, Prashid Krishna, Avesh Khan, and Rajat Patidar. Now, there have been a few exclusions, and we are going to talk about Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan in just a moment. But you might have noticed that there are players who are currently doing really, really well and are not part of the central contracts, those of whom being Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan. Now, it's a very interesting bit of snippet here that the BCCI are going to include Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan on a pro rata basis. According to the BCCI, if a player has played a minimum of 3 test matches, 8 one-day internationals or 10 T20s within that specific period, they will automatically be included in grade C. So if you look at that condition, Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan should make it into the grade C contracts if they happen to play the 5th test match in Dharamshala, because both Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan have played 2 test matches so far. They both debuted in Rajkot and then played in Ranchi as well, and should they play in Dharamshala, which is a very, very likely possibility, then they would be included in grade C contracts as well. Apart from grade A plus, A, B and C, we have also had a few fast bowlers being given contracts as well. These include the recently debuted Akash Deep, we have Vijay Kumar Vyashank, Umran Malik, Yash Dayal and Kavarappa. So these are the players who have gotten a contract based on fast bowling, which is really good to see how they are promoting fast bowling in Indian cricket, which is brilliant to see, because we have had some great fast bowlers come over the years, the likes of Shami, Siraj, Bumrah, to name a few, and it's good to see that BCCI are taking care of up and coming fast bowlers as well. But this is not what you had come here to listen. You want to hear about Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer, 2 notable exclusions as part of the central contracts. It is worth mentioning that Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan are not the only senior players to have missed out on a central contract. There have been other players who have not played for India in quite some time now. These include the likes of Cheteshwar Pujara, Umesh Yadav, Shikhar Dhawan, Deepak Hooda and Yuzvendra Chahal. There's obviously no Ajinkya Rahane as well. So these are kind of the players who have missed out on a central contract. But apart from Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, these are the kind of players one might have expected that they would eventually miss out on a central contract. Cheteshwar Pujara has not played for India since the World Test Championship final almost a year ago now. Shikhar Dhawan, I don't even remember when he last played for India. I think he hasn't played for India in 2023. I think it was a year and a half now since he last represented India. Deepak Hooda as well had a great promise and had a great start to his international career by playing those great knocks in Ireland and England, but since then he is completely lost. And so has been Yuzvendra Chahal, who has been in and around the team in 2023 but has now been completely left out of the squad across all formats in 2024. But yeah, Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer are the notable exclusions. Let's start by talking about Shreyas Iyer, shall we? And it is really surprising that they have not been picked up. Before we even talk about Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer in particular, I want to state what the BCCI had to say to the media, and their statement basically goes as follows. Please note that Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan were not considered for the annual contracts in this round of recommendations. The BCCI has recommended that all athletes give precedence to participating in domestic cricket during periods when they are not representing the national team. And that second statement of giving precedence to participating in domestic cricket is the primary reason why Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan have not been part of the central contracts. Both of the players have not played Ranji Trophy cricket for quite some time now. Mumbai Indians is where Ishan Kishan plays his IPL cricket, and he's been known to prepare for the Indian Premier League whilst not representing his Ranji team, which is Jharkhand. Now, I did say that we'll talk about Shreyas Iyer first, but now since we have started talking about Ishan Kishan, let's talk about Ishan Kishan first. Ishan Kishan has been a mystery ever since the World Cup ended. He was part of the World Cup squad, if you remember, and he did play a couple of games early on in the World Cup when Shubman Gill was out with dengue, and so he did deputize for Shubman Gill and opened the innings with Rohit Sharma. I remember him playing in the opening game against Australia in Chennai, and he also played against Afghanistan in New Delhi, after which Shubman Gill returned to fitness and took Ishan Kishan's spot in the starting 11. But prior to the World Cup, he also played an integral part in the Asia Cup. Mind goes back to that amazing innings and partnership with Hardik Pandya against Pakistan, helping India win that game in the group stages. But ever since the World Cup has ended, he's kind of disappeared from the face of the planet in a way. Now, there had been rumors stating that Ishan Kishan wanted to prioritize on mental health, and that is the reason why he was let go from the squad which had traveled to South Africa after the World Cup. But since then, the mental fatigue thing has been thrown up in flames in a way, because early on in January there were reports stating that yes, he withdrew from the squad, stating mental fatigue, but then he was seen partying in Dubai, and that caused another can of worms in a way. And since then there has been a bit of friction behind the scenes. Rahul Dravid mentioned after, I think, the second test match that they would give Ishan Kishan a chance should he prove himself and start playing Ranji Trophy cricket again. But so far, Ranji Trophy, let alone Ranji Trophy, Ishan Kishan has not played cricket of any stretch of imagination. I'm just quickly checking where he when he last represented any team whatsoever, and so the last time he played for India was in the T20 series against Australia after the World Cup. He did score he did play 3 T20s against Australia, did score 2 half centuries, 58 in Visakhapatnam and 52 in Thiruvananthapuram, scored a nought in the Guwahati T20, which was played on the 28th of November, and since then he's not played a single first class game or international or a domestic game whatsoever. And there have been videos surfacing on social media stating that and showing that he's working hard in the gym with Hardik Pandya and sorts. But if he's fit enough, then why he's not been playing for his Ranji side? And I think there is a bit of friction behind the scenes between Ishan Kishan and BCCI, and I think, as BCCI have clearly mentioned in their media release, that the reason why him and Shreyas Iyer have not been picked for the central contracts is because their lack of domestic cricket. Now, only Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan know the reason why they have not been playing Ranji cricket. Apparently, Ishan Kishan had a chance of being India's first choice wicketkeeper for this test series against England, but due to all these frictions or whatever you want to name it, he has been nowhere in recognition for a wicket-keeping slot. There has been no Rishabh Pant for a year and a half now, but India have since given an opportunity to Shrikar Bharat and now Dhruv Jurel, and Dhruv Jurel has grabbed that opportunity with both hands, supposedly. And I think Ishan Kishan would be kicking himself because of him not being there when there was a huge opening for a wicket keeper in test match cricket. He did keep wickets against West Indies a few months ago, but since then he's not been able to grab hold of that position, and which has now been taken up by Dhruv Jurel. So Ishan Kishan remains a big mystery for me. So now let's come back and talk about Shreyas Iyer, because Shreyas Iyer is someone who has been in and around the Indian setup after the World Cup as well. If we look at Shreyas Iyer's profile in his recent matches, he played the first two test matches against England. That's how much cricket, that's how recent Shreyas Iyer has represented India. And even if you not include India, he's played one game of Ranji cricket for Mumbai back in January. This was before the series against England commenced, and even going back, he played really, really well in South Africa. He played a couple of test match and an ODI as well. So he has been representing India a lot more than someone like Ishan Kishan could claim to have been representing. But I don't know, this is a bigger mystery than Ishan Kishan. For as far as Ishan Kishan is concerned, you can understand why BCCI have not given him a central contract. Mental fatigue, then he's seen partying in Dubai, not representing Jharkhand whilst preparing to play for Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League. I can see why. Yes, I don't know the exact reason, but being an outsider looking in towards BCCI and Ishan Kishan, I can understand why the BCCI have not given him a contract. So I'm cool with that. Something I'm not cool with is Shreyas Iyer, and I'm sure there is a lot more things happening in the background which I'm not aware of, which many of the listeners or other people surrounding the cricketing fraternity might not be aware of as well. But he's been playing cricket so much, and he's been doing really well for India as well. He was arguably the third best batsman for Team India in the World Cup, where they reached the final. Yes, Kohli and Rohit Sharma just took all the plaudits, but Shreyas Iyer himself had a really good World Cup. He played in all 11 matches. He's scoring 530 runs in the World Cup, which includes 2 centuries, one against the Netherlands and another being against New Zealand. And he's been doing really, really well in as far as limited overs cricket is concerned. And then he's been taken out of the squad, citing injuries after the first 2 test matches against England. And then he misses a Ranji game due to the injury, or maybe he was just skipping around. But after that, there were news stating that he is going to represent Mumbai in the Ranji Trophy semi-final. He just missed the quarter-final against Baroda, which, alright, was it intentional or was he just giving himself a break? We all don't know about that thing. But he's going to represent the Mumbai side in the Ranji Trophy semi-final. Wasn't that enough for BCCI to cut him some slack, give him some benefit of doubt, and possibly give him a central contract? Because apart from someone like Ishan Kishan, who has been around the fringes, Shreyas Iyer is a very important and integral part to the Indian setup, particularly in one-day internationals. As far as Test cricket is concerned, yes, he didn't play too well. He was kind of underwhelming in the first 2 test matches against England in Visakhapatnam and in Hyderabad. But and since then, Sarfaraz Khan has done immensely well. But even if you look beyond the test matches that he played against England, the 2 of them, he has done reasonably well. And that is something which worries me, because Shreyas Iyer is so good, not to mention that he is the captain of an IPL franchise, which not a lot of key Indian players can say about it. Virat Kohli is not a captain anymore. Ravichandran Ashwin is not a captain anymore. There is obviously players like Sarfaraz Khan who are around the fringes of the Indian Premier League. And even someone like Ishan Kishan, there is Jasprit Bumrah. There are so many good players who are not even captaining their respective franchise. And there is Shreyas Iyer. So a franchise does believe in him, but there is something going on in the background which has seen him being excluded from the central contracts as well, which is baffling to me if you personally ask me. But yeah, I don't know what else can be added here, because Shreyas Iyer is such a good player. We have seen him perform for India time and time again, but yeah, it is all mysterious to me in the end. But those are the news which have surfaced over the past day or so, that Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer have missed out on a central contract for 2024. I do want to know your thoughts on this matter as well. So yeah, if you have any thoughts, or whether I am right, whether I'm wrong, your own thoughts, you can tweet it at me. The Cricket Corner podcast has its own Twitter account, and you can tweet it at me over there. Or you can, if you're listening this on YouTube, you can let me know down in the comment section as well. But yeah, it is all fascinating to me. But if you just exclude the two of them, Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, and look at the bright side of things, there are so many young players that have gotten contracts, likes of Rinku Singh, Tilak Verma, Ruturaj Gaikwad. There's obviously Jitesh Sharma, who's gotten a contract as well, and Rajat Patidar, to name a few. So there have been some reasonably good inclusions as well, but these two exclusions have kind of caught my eye, and decided that this deserves its own podcast. So yeah, that is the thing about Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan. But that is not the only news to have come out of the BCCI camp in the past 24 hours or so. The BCCI and the Indian management have named the squad for the fifth and final test match in Dharamshala. So let's talk about that as well while we are at it. So yes, the squad announced for the fifth and final test match in Dharamshala does not include KL Rahul as well, and the BCCI have given a verdict regarding the same, and their statement goes as follows. Mr. KL Rahul, whose participation in the final IDFC First Bank test was subject to fitness, has been ruled out of the fifth and final test match in Dharamshala. The BCCI medical team is closely monitoring him and coordinating with specialists in London for further management of his issue. So according to the statement, KL Rahul is not even in India right now, and he is being treated all the way in the United Kingdom. And I'm assuming that his focus now is on the IPL. If there is a bit of niggle here and there, I think he wants to make sure that he is completely fit and fine for the Indian Premier League and also for the World T20, which is going to start a few weeks after the IPL. So that is one of the notable exclusions. As far as inclusions are concerned, Jasprit Bumrah, who missed out and was rested for the fourth test match in Ranchi, will link up with the squad in Dharamshala for the fifth test match. So he is back in the squad. So that means that India's updated squad for the fifth test match goes as follows. We have Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, who is returned after missing the test match and was rested for that one in Ranchi. We have Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, Rajat Patidar, Sarfaraz Khan, Dhruv Jurel. Both of them would be playing in this test match and would be promoted to a grade C contract as well. Shreyas Bharat is there as a stand-in wicket-keeper as well. Devdutt Padikkal, who made his comeback, or who was introduced in the test fraternity in the third test match. I don't think he's going to make his debut anytime soon, but he's still there. Then obviously you have the bowlers in the form of Ashwin, Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, Mukesh Kumar and Akash Deep. So that is the squad for the fifth and final test match against England in Dharamshala. Hopefully the weather holds up. Apparently there's still snow on the horizons and rain on the horizon with a very chilly temperature. So hopefully that all holds up. As I said, we still have a week to go before the start of the fifth test match. The fifth test match between India and England will start from the 7th of March, and at the time of recording today is the 29th of February. So happy leap year to everyone who's made it this far into the podcast. So yeah, those are the news surrounding Team India at the moment. I think the contract situation took up the majority of this podcast, and rightly so. I think there was a lot to talk about from that point of view. But also, India releasing their squad for the fifth test match had a few notable exclusions and inclusions as well, which we covered. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, make sure you are liking, sharing and subscribing on YouTube. If you're listening this on Spotify and or Apple Podcast, make sure you're giving me those 5-star ratings if you think I deserve them. However, for the time being, this is me, Vatsal Vora, signing off. Ciao for now.